Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Panther Review. I'm your host, Matt Martin, and once again, we'll be taking an in-depth look at Knightstown athletics. Each episode, we will highlight a specific Panther or Lady Panther sports team, and today's focus will be the girls' track team. On today's show, we'll be talking with head track coach Jordan Chu, along with track teammates Elaine Cease and Elizabeth Moore. Coach, thanks for joining us again this
thanks
year.
for having me.
Coach, obviously you're kind of the first person we're going to talk to today, and we'll get to the ladies here in a little bit, but you're also the cross-country coach, and how does, I guess we'll start with, how does that help when it comes to track?
Definitely helps with carryover as far as distance girls are hard to get. It's tough work to run distance on the track team, so it's nice to have that relationship where we can kind of, just blend it into track and can combine the two.
I was maybe a rarity. You and I both ran cross-country, and you ran track, and I didn't, but do you find it, do the girls or anybody find it difficult for track to go from cross-country to track? Because, for me, it was more of a mind game. 8 laps to go, 7.
Yeah.
Did the girls struggle with that at all?
There's a struggle for sure. I mean, I think, for example, I have 2 girls that don't mind running cross-country, but then when I ask them to do certain things in track, they don't really care for the monotony of running circles.
Yeah,
so,
and I can relate to that. Not that that's good, but I can relate to it. You've already been working out in the hallways. Mother Nature hasn't been super kind, but I think you've actually gone out more than most teams have or would have. But what problems besides, I guess, being in the hallways does early season conditioning? Yeah,
for sure. With the weather, we're not getting to do as much speed work as we'd like because I don't want girls getting hurt or too sore. And besides that, in general, the weather has just been killing our meet schedules. We've run 1 meet in the last month and getting ready to run, I think 9 meets in the next 4 weeks after only running 1 in the first 4 weeks. So it's been a little tricky.
And tonight, obviously this won't air till Saturday, but tonight you go to Shenandoah, which is a makeup meet.
Right.
And so did that throw a wrinkle into your practice schedule at all, knowing yesterday that you were going to run today?
Right, yeah. So distance girls yesterday, we were going to do some interval training. Now we've canceled that. But it'll be good to get the extra meet in and get our legs under us a little bit.
Just to get outside, get the competition going. Change the topic just a little bit. Can you give the viewers or parents a little info on maybe what goes into the off season for your program, kind of even before conditioning, because they see run, but there's so much more into it than that.
Right. Yeah, and I definitely encourage girls to play other sports at a school like Knightstown. Play basketball, play anything, do cheerleading, just stay competitive. And but for me as a coach, the thing I really hit during the off season is recruiting. It's tough to get. We have 14 girls this year, and so I definitely spend most of my time just talking to girls. Hey, you're going to run this year, and telling them why they would be good or what they would be good at, in my opinion. And so that's definitely what I do on the off season. So.
And you mentioned you only have 14. I believe you had 16 or 17 in the past couple years, and were county champs all those years. So it says a lot about the recruiting you do, not recruiting as far as other schools are concerned, but recruiting, as inside our walls. The official start to the season was right before spring break. What kind of preparation does it take to get ready for that meet itself?
Yeah, it's a lot of, we spent 2 weeks just doing, jogging and weight room stuff to try to mitigate soreness. And then we just start doing intervals and working on our specials. And the first meet's kind of a trial meet and for example, I have some girls now that aren't currently happy with what they're running, but we've only had the 1 meet. I mean, it's going to take a little time to figure out the best, best setup. So,
what do you look for going into that first meet? I mean, is there something that you just want to? Obviously, you can't look at a true PR because it's your first meet. But what do you look for in that?
I want to see the girls just run hard, because if a girl wants to run hard and work hard, then we can handle the conditioning. But if a girl just doesn't want to run hard, it's so that's mainly what the 3 coaches on our staff are looking for, is just competitiveness and desire.
Partly because of the weather for at least the first meet or first 2 normally aren't very good. So you kind of see that drive, desire, what they're looking for there. Looking at some goals for this entire season, what are some goals that you might have for individuals or the team?
Normally we like to send a couple events to regional, and we'd like to win county every year. And we were in the TEC this year for the first time. So we for sure would like to compete and try to win the TEC meet this year.
What about some individuals? Do you have some girls that you look for that can maybe get a leg up in the TEC or county or something like that?
Yeah, and this is pretty standard with track. You kind of have 2 or 3, studs that you want to try to ride and put in 4 events and try to get as many points as possible. And we brought a couple of those girls with us today that we're going to be relying heavily on. So that's definitely one of our keys is finding the right rolls on the relays and then putting your studs where you can score the most points.
Do you, when you say that, of course, some people might not know, you can only do 4 events a night. Is it a chess match on figuring out where they're going to go, not so with the girls, but also with, this event's right after this event and trying to put them in that order?
Right. And one of the main things we do is I'll kind of track other teams' times. And for example, if I know, and it's not really conceding, it's just strategizing. If I know we can't beat a girls 4x1 team, like a certain team, then I may pull like Elaine out of the 4x1 and try to get her points in other races. So.
Does the, and like I kind of asked a little bit ago, does the time factor in between events play into that too?
Yeah, for sure. Liz, we brought, is going to run the first race, the last race, and basically the 2 middle races. And it's a tough workload, and we ask a lot from some of these girls. But for sure, I'm not asking anybody to run back-to-backs normally or anything.
That might cause a little bit of issues there as well. Are there any? We mentioned that you and I were talking that the North Decatur invite's actually going to be at Knightstown. Does a home, and I'll ask this probably a little bit later too with our county, but does a home track advantage, is it as big as like a baseball or a basketball, something like that?
I honestly have said this before, but I think coasting the county track meet, it's almost a detriment in the sense I do a lot of preparation work, like worrying about the hurdles and worrying about stuff instead of coaching in between the breaks. So
blame the AD for that.
Yeah. Well, the travel arrangements are nice being at home. I won't say it's necessarily an advantage to be at home. There's just kind of with basketball, you can shoot in the gym, get the touch. Running's kind of a transferable trait, So.
Yeah, you have a circle track. You have Or how does the wind play a factor in that too? You're coming around a stretch and you just get blasted in the face by this gust of wind.
Yeah, for sure. The wind, especially on Friday, I'm seeing 40-mile-an-hour winds for this meet. So we're definitely going to talk to our girls about racing and you don't have to be a hero. Like in the mile, you can race in the pack and then talk about when to go. So it's definitely going to be a factor for sure.
All right, Coach, we'll talk more about this season when we come back. That's all the time we have for segment 1. When we come back, we'll talk with Coach Chu for segment 2.
A working mom who brings her best to both roles. A community-owned telecom that connects her home with high-bandwidth fiber optic. Mom can work from home with fast, reliable connectivity and be there when the kids come home. When everyone logs on, the internet connections stay fast and the family stays connected. 9-Star Connect. Community-owned. Community strong.
Carnegie's A Place to Eat is the place for exceptional dining in Greenfield. Enjoy our hand-cut steaks, fresh seafood, herbs and vegetables straight from our gardens, prepared with a northern Italian flair. Chef Ian and his staff welcome you as our guests to enjoy fine wines, dinners, and ambiance. Carnegie's is the place for your special event with a private room that seats 100. Perfect for your next party, business meeting, or wedding reception. We are located in the historic Carnegie Library in downtown Greenfield. We'll see you at Carnegie's.
Welcome back to the Panther Review. We are continuing talking to head coach Jordan Chu of the women's track team. Coach, kind of continuing the season, you mentioned some returners. Can you give me some returners that maybe you're expecting a lot from, or what are your returners looking like this year?
We had one kind of special returner, Lori Thomas, won conference in the half mile as a freshman, and then took junior year off from track and has come back, and now she's a thrower.
Okay.
So that's kind of a special 4-year transition. And then the 2 girls I brought, Elaine and Liz, are looking to carry our sprints, long jump, and our distance events. That's probably going to be our fallback on these 2 girls with us today.
You mentioned 14. How many of your 14 are returners?
I believe 9 or 10 out of the 14 are returners. So.
And you were kind of mentioning if you can get 4 or 5
Right.
a year, that's a good number. What about newcomers? What about those 4 or 5 newcomers that you were talking about? Look forward to there.
Pretty much all the newcomers are new to track.
Okay.
I don't believe we got any carryover from the 8th grade, which we're looking to change, hopefully this year. So, but they're all kind of learning. 2 of them are sprinters, and we have a thrower and a high jumper, and they're improving a lot. So.
And obviously the bad part about that is they've never done the events before. Right. Are there good things to that though, where you can kind of take them and mold them to do what you want them to do?
There definitely are some perks to having brand new people, as far as their block starts and handoffs aren't messed up, and their high jumps not messed up. But at the same time, it's definitely been a long process so far getting them ready for the first meet.
And especially like we mentioned that a lot of bad weather, a lot of inside,
Yep.
that you can't duplicate what's going on.
It's been cold and rainy, so like learning the high jump has been really challenging. And now it's kind of, as a coach, you feel bad asking a girl to go to a meet like Friday, an invitational high jump, when they won't, they haven't done it that much.
Right.
But that's just the way it's gone this year.
Mother Nature has not played nice.
So.
Is it difficult, and we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but you mentioned you have some girls that maybe aren't exactly ecstatic with where they're going, but you have that in every sport. Not playing time in basketball or. Is it difficult in deciding who to put in what event?
Yeah, it's difficult because I know when I was in high school, you kind of think of track as an individual sport, but now as a coach, you want to win the meet, and you're trying to do what's best for the team. And so there's definitely some girls that aren't always happy. And hopefully they just trust that we're trying to do what's best for the team, because it is a team sport on our end.
Well, yeah, and you as a coach aren't trying to jip anybody out of anything.
Exactly.
Okay, how, if any way, does strategy play a role? You mentioned maybe putting somebody in spot A if you know you can't win this relay or whatever. What other strategy plays into that?
A lot of the strategy you could say is who run. Do you want to stack your fastest girls at the start of the relay, or go 1-4, put them in the middle to surprise? Because most teams are going to run your second and third runners are going to be your 2 slowest runners.
Okay.
So you can definitely try to steal races that way, trying to get teams to shut down. We're too far behind to catch up type of thing. So that's one strategy you can play. Otherwise, there's not, honestly, with track, there's not a ton of strategy beside that, because it's pretty much, with athletic.net, we can look up what people run. And like on Friday, though, with the wind, that's definitely going to be a game, staying back until it's time type situation. So. Do
you know, okay, speaking of cross country a little bit, do you teach your teams to, a lot of teams will sprint and then kind of fade back, or or a pace guy?
I'm trying to get my kids to be pace kids. I love negative splits where we speed up at the end, and it's tough. And Liz, I think will agree that we've been working on it, and it's tough. It's a tough task to speed up at the end. It hurts, and but the worst feeling in the world with the distance race is going out too fast and tanking, and it's embarrassing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can't hide on a track if you go out too fast.
No, because everybody's watching. There's only one set of bleachers that everybody's watching around. Do you take an approach, or a different approach to an invitational versus, let's say tonight, versus a dual or a tri-way or something like that? Yeah,
so for tonight, being that we run again on Friday at an invite, and I think we've won this invite 5 or 6 years in a row, so we definitely would like to make a good run at it this week. So tonight we may pull a girl from an event or two, and try to save their legs a little bit type situation. But other than that, I mean, we really, after this week, we probably won't tweak things too much. But
just pretty much here's what we do, and let's do it.
For the most part.
We talked about conference, new to the TEC meet this year. What are your thoughts on that? Have you had a chance to kind of gauge teams and individuals? What are your thoughts on competing in the TEC?
So in our prior conference, our goal was always Eastern Hancock. I think we got second for the last 4 years. We were second, and this year definitely Centerville and Hagerstown are normally pretty powerful track squads, and our goal is to beat them in Twin Conference. We've been waiting. We've had some really good teams, and Eastern Hancock has as well, and we've always kind of been right there. So this year, definitely with the TEC, we're looking to make a run at it.
And will you see Centerville and Hagerstown before the TEC meet?
We'll see them at the Hagerstown Invitational and try to get a good gauge. Last year we missed the Hagerstown Invitational, and so this year will be the first time we've seen them in a while. So,
you know, we kind of briefly talked on this earlier as well. County track meet's always at Knightstown. What benefit, if any, does it have for the team? You know, you talked about yourself worrying about hurdles and things like that, but for our kids, does it have a benefit being at home besides travel?
Yeah, there's the few benefits. I'd say, like for our long jumpers, they have their spots already. High jumpers have their spots. Relay, people know, you know, on our track what the exchange zones look like and where they start. Outside of that, I kind of do like the travel for some meets because it gets you, it's like, okay, I'm going to a track meet now. Versus a home meet, you get to sit around and you don't have the mental preparation.
You walk outside and there it is.
Right. It kind of feels like practice sometimes.
And playing other sports as well, I liked traveling. I like seeing the other venues. I like doing that. You know, track isn't, talking a little bit of sectional here, track is not a class sport. Would you like to see it go that way? Or do you like you're the best of the best?
Right. I mean, as a coach, it sometimes gets a little frustrating seeing, you know, some of these other teams that are class have, it's not frustrating, it's great for the school. But as a personal touch, I would like to have some of that success as well.
Sure.
But running Lawrence North in our sectional, I mean, we're probably not going to win sectional
Well, they've
ever.
got 2,000 people to pull from.
And we've had some great athletes in the past, like Emily Thomas made it to state. And when you're making it to state from a 2A school, I mean, you probably as a class sport would have had a tremendous success that year.
Absolutely.
So it's been a little frustrating. I can't speak as to whether I would like to see it class. I haven't thought about that much because track and cross country sometimes just kind of, it's running, it kind of gets pushed aside, but it would kind of be nice, honestly.
Well, speaking of sectional, kind of last question we'll have here. What are your thoughts on the sectional? You know, as far as people that maybe can advance to regional, do you have those kind of people in mind as well?
Yeah, I've got we have a few distance girls in our distance relay, in our 4x4, and maybe long jump are some areas we're looking at trying to send somebody out this year. And it's tough, like I said, with the sprinting schools like Lawrence North. It's tough in the hurdles, sprints. So that's what we're going to focus on is field events have been our best bet with advancing and relays. So.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
That's all the time we have for segment 2. When we return, we will have segment 3 with our Panther women's track teammates Elizabeth Moore and Elaine Cease.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt, the 9-Star Energy Advisor. Today we're going to be talking about saving energy with your windows and doors.
Windows and doors are a weak spot in your home. The R value of a window or door is much less than insulated walls. A great way to control energy costs is to make sure you properly seal and insulate exterior windows and doors. Check the caulking or air sealing around the outside of your windows and doors. Caulk shrinks and cracks over time, so you should keep an eye on it over the years and repair as needed. Take a close look at your windows and doors to make sure the weather stripping is intact and not damaged. Storm doors are helpful, but if you have one, make sure it closes properly. Check the weather stripping around your windows and again make sure it is intact. Additionally, make sure to caulk the inside of the windows and doors.
Thanks for watching this energy savings tip brought to you by your friends at 9-Star.
Welcome back. I am now here with Panther track teammates Elizabeth Moore and Elaine Cease. Actually, I think this is the last time we started this, we were laughing as well, so it must just be something over here. First question I have is kind of a general one for both of you. I guess, when did you start your interest in track and why? Who wants to go first?
I started track in 6th grade because I was just ending gymnastics that I had done for 8 years, and I don't really know what brought me into track. I just did it.
Just wanted to go out and try it? Okay. Liz, how about you?
I started in 7th grade, and I don't know why I did it. I don't remember. I think I just thought I was fast, but then. Yeah.
You just kind of stuck, and did friends play a role in that? I mean,
Yeah.
or did you have friends playing softball that you maybe wanted to try that, or?
I feel like definitely all my friends basically did track at the time, so that's probably a factor.
Elaine? Do you
None
have
of my
friends? That's a good
close friends did track.
Okay. Did a lot of them play softball?
They all do cheerleading.
Oh, okay. Well, you can't do that in the spring anyway. So, what? Okay. So, because of your interest in track, why would you try to talk somebody into running track? It's like talked with Coach Chu. Not great weather. It's hard. It's tough. Distance or sprints or whatever. So, what would entice somebody to join you on the track team or follow in your footsteps?
It teaches you to work hard and be dedicated, and if you're good in your individual sports, if you like winning, then that would be a good part of it. And also just it gives you the team atmosphere, and that's what I like about it.
Liz?
It taught me how to finish, and it's really good for like mental toughness, I think.
Let's take something Lane just said about individual and team, and cross country is the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But do either one of you take I'm going to take care of my part and do, win as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
I care what the team does, but I'm going to do my part first, and then that other part will come. Does that play, or is it just team first as long as I do my part? Does that make sense?
I feel like I have to do my part and encourage everyone to do theirs too, because otherwise we can't win.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We all have to be winning.
Yeah, you all got to do your part, or you don't win. And our track team's been very successful, because of that. Beginning of the season is always tough, preseason including. What are some early obstacles that you might face in the preseason? Weather, or being inside, or your body's getting used to being back in the track, things like that?
Well, I'm definitely not in shape in the beginning of the season, so it's really tough to finish all the things he wants us to do.
So do you try to pace yourself then, or do you try to just go full steam, knowing that you're not as in the best shape as what you'd like to
I
be?
usually just go as hard as I can in the beginning.
And then see what happens after
Yep.
that. How about you, Elaine?
The same things that she said.
Does inside pose a factor at all? I mean, because you can run in circles, but it's not the curve, it's not the handoffs or whatever. Does that play, or do you just do it and go on?
It's harder on your legs and it's boring, and intervals inside are hard to do and they feel worse.
Yeah, and you have to watch all the corners because they're kind of dangerous.
And hit somebody or
Yeah.
Okay, so we've migrated from the beginning of the season. You've had a race or two. Do you change anything in your approach as far as try to conserve more in practice, or once again, do you just follow what you need to do and go do it?
Just do it.
Just listen to coach and whatever he
Trust
says.
the process.
Okay, what about meet wise? I mean, obviously you should be in better shape. Do you change your times that you want to hit, or is it just once again I'm gonna go out and run what I can and be done with it, or jump what I can, or throw or whatever?
I don't know. You have to try just as hard every time, but you should be improving throughout the season.
Yeah.
So for example, how much time? Well, let's take you. What? Give me your best event. You think?
This year it's probably the 800.
The 800. What did you set your time for the first meet? Did you set a certain time, or just I want to go out and
I definitely wanted to be lower than a 250.
Okay, and then do you have an ending season time that you want to hit as well?
I'd like to be around at least lower 40s.
Okay, and
So.
that's a good chunk of some people might say, well, that's only 6-8 seconds. It's a good chunk of time when you're talking 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And Lane, how about you? What about your goal for one event?
In the 400 or the 4x4 at our first meet, I was supposed to hit around 110 or 109, but in the end of the season I can get to 107 or 6.
Okay, and once again, looking at the times, 2 and 3 seconds is a lot of time in a sprint or in an event like that. Being another year older, competing in track, does that help your mindset that you kind of know what you're doing? And have you changed any events that you've done that maybe is a new event and you're starting fresh?
Well, I personally was a sprinter. I think kind of a sprinter. I did 300 hurdles and 100 hurdles as a freshman, and I did 4x1, I think, or no, 4x4. I don't know, but like shorter distance. And so now I'm doing long distance, and I actually personally like it a lot more. And yeah.
Even though it's longer, you still like it more because of just, you think it's what you're better at? Is that what you...
And I think since I did some last year, sophomore year, I did a little like the 800 and the 4x8, and so I know now what's good kind of and how to improve.
How to do it and what to expect. And Elaine, how about with you? I mean, do you take, since you're a year older, have the same mindset that you did last year, or do you know what to expect more? Or?
I know what to expect as far as practices and how hard I should be working and what I should be hitting. And since I had to do the 400 last year, even though I didn't like it, I know what to expect this year, and I know that I can do it even if I don't like it. And that helps my mindset.
And it helps your team.
Yes.
So let's talk individual goals and team goals. What is one individual goal you have for yourself and one team goal that you have for the overall team?
My individual goal is to finally make it out of sectionals in long jump.
Okay.
Because every year I've missed the cut by 1 or 2 places. And a team goal is county again for the 6th year in a row.
Okay, that's not too shabby. Liz, how about for you?
My individual goal is probably to maybe place in conference. And then my team goal is county as well. I hope we win county and hopefully do well in conference.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad about that either. So a couple questions we have with the last couple minutes. Sectional is not classed. Like we talked to Coach Shu, would you guys like to see it classed, or do you like competing against the bigger schools, smaller schools, and everybody thrown into one?
I personally would definitely like to see it classed.
Just so you compete against your group.
I agree, but also when I do good against the bigger schools, it makes me feel better because I can stay up with them, not in the final rounds, but I can get to the final rounds.
Sure. And you can, and not that you want to compare yourself, but you can compare yourself to the bigger schools and kind of your mindset prove that I can do it. I know I can. Last question I guess I have for both of you is well, maybe last question. What can you take away from your track career? When you look back after you graduate, I enjoyed X most about track.
Well, I learned that actually I love running now. Like I like to run, and it's good for like stress relief. And so I think later in life I'll still be running, and I think that'll be good for
Get mad
fitness
and go run. Don't hit a wall, go run around. Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Really?
From a different point, my favorite thing is like the team and our team meals and how much fun we have, even when practices suck. Yeah. We still have fun together as a team.
And that was our cross country in high school is we were family, we hung out, and people were like, why do you like to run cross country? Well, it's more than just about the 20 minutes running. But I appreciate you ladies being here. We'll go to Mozzie's and kind of relax here a little bit. All right, Panther fans, that's all the time we have for today. I would like to thank all of our guests on today's show. Don't forget to continually check the athletic website, which is www.knightstownathletics.com, and the athletic Twitter page at @CAB_athletics. Something else new that we're doing this year is you can sign up for EventLink, which will link all of our schedules, and it's a scheduling software we use and has some behind-the-scenes stuff that's pretty neat there as well. But more importantly, don't forget to come back and support our student athletes striving to be their best. Thanks again to 9-Star Communications and everyone at Greenfield Central High School. I am Matt Martin, and this has been the Panther Review on 9-Star Channel 9.